Hi there, BookTube. My name is Christina, and today I'm here finally with the O.w.l.s results. And first thing first, I don't like my hair like that. So that's a little bit better. And second things, I want something to drink right now. And again, that's much better. I have here a bubble tea. I love bubble tea. This one is actually like coconut milk with lychees, bubbles of lychees, something like that. And I'm so glad because this screams summer and spring to me. And finally I was able to go out there and to buy one. So I'm so glad. It's a little thing, but it makes me hugely happy, just as the O.w.l.s did. And here I am to sum up how it went. Let me get to each book and each exam that I passed, because I was amazing, I can tell it myself, and I passed almost every exam of the O.w.l.s, so I can choose pretty much every career, even if I'm still going for the ministry worker. The first exam that we had was arithmancy, and it's to read a book outside your genre. And for this one, I read In Paris with You. This was a body read. This is a contemporary, a romance. It's written in verse, and it's not exactly a romantic romance. And if you want to know more about my thoughts about it, I will actually upload a review soon about this book, so stay tuned and go and check it out. I liked some aspects of it and I disliked some others. Here we follow two main protagonists who meet after 10 years since a thing that happened between them, like a romance, maybe, kinda, who knows. And this was an exam that I needed for my Animagus second path, let's say, I believe. So, passed. The second exam was astronomy, and for astronomy, which was to read a book mostly when it's dark and the wind is blowing, I read Spell of Desire. And Spell of Desire was the third volume in a manga series that I'm reading. It's like composed of 5 volumes, I believe, and it's a story about a white witch that discovers that actually maybe there is more in her than she expects, and she has this strange power developing inside her, and she meets this hot guy who's kind of witch guardian and knight, and of course they fall in love and stuff happens. So I'm going on with this story. It's a little bit steamy, so not for very young readers for sure, and just an entertaining read that I completely read in one night, so check. Next we have Care of Magical Creatures, for which we had to read a book with a beak on the cover. And for this one, I read Girl from the Other Side. And it's the first one in a manga series. It's kind of well beloved, I believe, manga series. And this is the first one in which we're following this strange creature with a beak completely black and this little girl completely wearing white, and it's a strange and unique story in which they live on the outside and then there is an inside, and the two parts are like in war or something like that, but it's only the first volume, so it's kind of unique and I really want to know what will happen next. So check. The next one was the one for my career, and it's Charms, and for Charms we had to read a book with a white cover, and for this I read The Daisy Pickers. The Daisy Picker, actually, and it was a book that lovely Svetlana, a watcher of this channel that I adore and a friend, suggested for me, and I finally picked it up and I love this story. It's a contemporary, it is a kind of romance, maybe more like a cozy, a little bit of chic book, not sure. But we're following an adult protagonist who is 41, who suddenly discovers that she doesn't want to live the life that she's living right now, and she wants a change, and she wants to live her life to the fullest, and so she just gets on the car and goes out there through Ireland to find her path and her life. I adored this book. I loved it, and I hope that if you're in search of something light and fun and very and inspiring for your life, this is a great book. So again, check. Then again, for my path as a ministry worker, I had Defense Against Dark Arts. So for this one, we had to read a book set at sea, and I read a graphic novel, which was Ragazze del Pillar. And this graphic novel is absolutely stunning. I loved it. The graphic part of it was amazing, and the story was lovely, and we're following these girls from kinda a brothel, so it's more for adults, of course, but it's not about the dark side of it. It's more like about friendship and your found family, and I adored it. And I actually bought the prequel of this one, and unfortunately I believe it's only in Italian, but it's completely worth it. So if you can, go and read it, and it's check for one more exam. Next I had Divination, and for Divination we had to read a random book from our TBR, like pick a number and choose it randomly. Actually, I've not done exactly that, but on a whim I decided to listen to an audiobook, a random audiobook that I searched for, and it was The Loneliest Girl in the Universe. I love this book. It's a sci-fi thriller, and I will release soon a review for it. So just wait a little bit more and you will see. It's about 16 years old young girl who is on a spaceship in the middle of space, and she was actually born there, and she's traveling in order to reach Earth 2 and to create a new life, and stuff happens. It's a thriller. It's very like psychological thriller too, so the less you know the better. Just go into it, maybe not in this period if you're in self-isolation and you're not living it too well, but maybe later. This is a great book. Check. Then I have just actually one class that I've not attended, and it was Ancient Runes, because it was boring and I've not enjoyed the teacher during the year, and my classmates weren't there, and to be truth, I had no book with a heart on the cover because this was the assignment, so nothing for that one. Next, I had the exam that actually made me like sit on the edge of my chair for the whole time, because it's Mongol studies, and I almost forgot about it because it was just written in a different part for the path that I really intended to follow inside the ministry. So that was interesting, and that definitely spiced up my last days of April. And for that one, it was a contemporary to read. I went with Corella. And this is a very well-known and well-beloved contemporary romance, YA romance, in which we're following a girl and her story as a fangirl of this fandom that's similar to like Star Wars mixed Star Trek mixed Doctor Who, something like that, I believe. And it's completely invented, and we're following her adventures during convention that is taking part, and it's a retelling of Cinderella, and it was a good one. I really enjoyed it. The dislikable characters were very dislikable, the likable ones were very likable, so I absolutely enjoyed it, and check. Next we have Herbology, and for Herbology we had to read a book with the first letter for a title, and being me, dumb apparently, I actually thought that it was an I inside brackets, but then only when I watched enough videos of other people wrapping up their owls, I discovered that it was an M. So yeah, I read the wrong book. Does it count? Who knows? But fortunately this is not one of the exams that I had to pass for my job. So you decide. And thinking that it was an I listened to Inner Life of Animals, and it's by the same author who wrote about trees, and I wasn't very sure about this book. It's not that scientific, it's very much based on just personal opinions and the way the author observed nature happening around him. The motorcycles going here and there all the time. I don't know where they're going, but they are. And so it was so. I wasn't very convinced, so I believe that I rated it probably like 3 stars, even if some very cute stories about animals are there, and maybe it's great if you're interested in starting, like searching more about the animals, and if you're not stopping here. So it gives you some ideas, and then you need to search more. Don't stop at this one. That's the suggestion that I may give you. And so Herbology, check, not check, who knows? Let's go on. The next one was again needed for my path, and it was History of Magic, a book with witches. And for this one I read a graphic novel. It was Mooncakes. It was a very well known and well loved graphic novel here on BookTube, but I have to admit that I wasn't very impressed. It's about a witch and a werewolf, and there is like this kind of I don't know if it's a bisexual character and a female character who is lesbian, or not sure about it. There is plenty of gender kind of diversity, and I enjoyed that aspect. But the story itself, yes, it was lovely, but I was expecting something more from the story, so wasn't really into it. It's lovely, again, if you want, go and check it out, but it's not my favorite one, so check. Potions was actually needed both for my career and in order to become an animagus, and it's a book under 150 pages, and for this one I actually read a selection of letters by Emily Bronte, and it was beautiful. I have to tell you that I don't know that much about this author. I know, what a shame, I need to redeem myself, because the things that I read in those letters were absolutely stunning. So I want to know more about this author and to read more by her and her sisters, of course. So check. Next again is something that I needed to read both for my career and in order to become an animagus, and it's of course Transfiguration, which was a book about shape-shifting. And for this one I listened to My Lady Jane. I adored this audiobook. It was so funny, so witty, and the voice, the actress, I cannot even tell you that it was like a narrator. It was more like watching this in theater, because she was so enthusiastic about the parts that I loved it. It made me laugh, and it was lovely and silly, and it's a reimagining of the adventures of Lady Jane, who actually was a queen of England for 9 days, but here it's a retelling, and it's a funny one with a fantasy twist in which there are people who are able to shapeshift in animals, and it was perfect. Check. So these were all of the exams that I passed, pretty much all of them except for Ancient Runes and Herbology, which is kinda here and there because, yeah, apparently I don't know how to read, which is kinda something that you probably need to learn doing if you are a booktuber and a wizard and you're doing your owls, but who cares? I still have bubble tea here. So yes, apparently I passed my exams even by staying at home and being in self-isolation, so I was actually able to focus more because, let's face it, Hogwarts is a place that's not for being concentrated like 24/7, because it's an amazing castle and you always want to live adventures and explore it. So yeah, it was better to stay at home and to read all of the necessary books, and so now I'm so ready for the Newts, and I hope that it will be a blast and an adventure, and that I will be actually able to become a ministry worker. So this is it for this video, and I hope to see you soon and to see you at Newts, because let's hope that we will pass the exams all together. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!